Welcome to today's episode on the series of Parts of Self. Last week we discussed the protector part, and today we're going to talk about the nurturer part.
So what we talk about as far as nurturing and protectors, how they work together and how they're both impacted by gender roles and society. We talk about how our nurturing parts just want to love and be loved. That's really their main purpose, just to love and be loved. We talk about how being authentic from our nurturing part, well, just authentic in general, helps our nurturing part, and how things can go bad when our nurturing part gets burdened. Lastly, we talk about ways to nurture yourself, such as self-care, self-reflection, and other things to enhance your nurturing part and enhance your own nurturing.
Yep. And just a little bit of content warning. We did discuss medically assisted dying or death. We discussed pet animal death. We discussed care of elderly parents and just sort of topics around that. So if that's sensitive to you, take care while listening.
Absolutely. Yep. With that being said, this way into your nurturing part. Last time we talked about protector parts, right?
Yep.
And protector parts do a lot of stuff, and they don't just do things on their own. They tend to do things with a lot of other parts of self. So I'm going to segue into nurturing part after I touch on protector just a little bit more. The way I help clients visualize their parts of self, protector part tends to be visualized as male most of the time. Not most of the time, but if we're looking at of all of the parts of self, if any part is more typically visualized as male, regardless of who, gender or whatever my client, is protector part. And a lot of the time when we visualize our parts of self, it's based on our ideas, our concept of what this part is and what it does. And so if we look at our culture, in pop culture especially, movies like action movies, the protector is almost always male. Right? Yeah. What movies off the top of your head can you think of that the protector is a male?
I was going to say Terminator, but I know he's not always a protector, but we did talk about him last time.
Yeah, in T2.
Yeah, in the second one.
That's right.
I mean, it usually is, when you think of like action movies and stuff, it usually is. The guy is the head of the ragtag team of people doing whatever they're doing or however that is,
Yeah.
It's usually, it is usually. I can't even think of one that is a woman. To be honest.
Exactly. So if I'm thinking of a protector who's a woman, I'm thinking of probably The Boys off the top of my head. But the character who, I forget her name as the character, but the actress's name is Karen Fukuhara, if I remember right. But anyway, she's a badass in this, but she's one lady out of the group of the boys. The rest are men, of course. And the leader of the boys is a man, of course. So even if we think of other genres of movies like comedies, the protector is still usually a male. Have you ever seen The Machine, Bert Kreischer movie?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you like Bert Kreischer at all?
He's the guy with no shirt, right?
Yeah, totally.
I think I've seen a few of his things. I always expected not to like him just because of what I saw of like clips and stuff, but I did see something that he was in. I don't know if it was a stand-up or it was just a long, like short video, but longer. And I did think he was pretty funny, so I probably should check him out a little bit more.
Oh, he's got a handful of stuff on Netflix. It's all worth watching, of course. Okay. But his movie, The Machine, it's a comedy, of course. Mark Hamill's in it. I love his character in this movie. It's so funny. But even it's a comedy, he's still the protector. Mm-hmm. So in our culture, really, our connotation of who a protector is a man. And this is really rooted in our rooted in our socialization and our gender roles. A lot of the gender roles are based on our physical capabilities, but also based on hierarchy and power structures and that kind of stuff. So if I'm looking at our just physical differences, people who are assigned male at birth generally tend to be bigger, stronger, just physically. And beyond that, in our culture, a lot of what men are told, implicitly and explicitly, men shouldn't feel emotions. If you're going to be feeling any emotions, it better be angry because that's the only masculine thing to do. Mm-hmm. versus, if women have emotions, well, you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, well, you shouldn't be feeling this way. And if women are angry, well, you're a bitch and you need to sit down and stop being so bossy. Right? And so it's very opposite gender roles as far as emotions go and what we do and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, our physical stature plays a role in this, but really, if we boil it down, it's our socialization, it's our culture. I might look to a man for a protector, but if I'm comparing my husband to, let's say, Brittney Griner, I'm going to pick Brittney Griner every day because she is buff.
Yeah.
She is athletic. She's like 6 feet tall, taller than my husband. I mean, I think she would do a better protection job of a lot of the dudes I know.
Physically,
not going to lie.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And she's been through some shit. I don't even want to know what she went through in Russia.
Oh.
Right? So these physical differences, these socialization differences don't always really form who protectors are. Any one of us can be protectors. And protector comes in different forms, of course. We want physical protection, but that's just one aspect of things. So here's where nurturing part comes in. Our nurturing parts play a big role hand in hand with protector parts in taking care of ourselves and those we love. If we're looking at gender roles and culture and all of that stuff, we tend to think of nurturing people as women. How many movies can you think of off the top of your head where there's a nurturing role and it's a woman?
Every role that has a mother.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm thinking of Steel Magnolias just off the top of my head. All of the women in there were nurturing and protectors, and there weren't many men in that movie, which that's fine. But I tend to think of all of those women as protectors and nurturers in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when it's a story about generations of women in the same family. A lot of times the eldest is, the matriarch is the one that's really doing protection of the entire family and everybody younger than her.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so when I help clients visualize their nurturing parts of self, the most common visual people get is their grandma. That's very, very common. So nurturing part tends to be women. Protector part tends to be male or male leaning or women leaning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter between, AMAB, AFAB people. And my clients have different genders and whatnot. And so this is a pretty universal thing because of our connotations or ideas.
Because of society telling us that the man is the protector and the woman is the nurturer.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. There are a lot of men with prominent nurturing parts of self. Mm-hmm. And the problem that these men run into in society is not just other men, but other women too, who tell them, well, you shouldn't be so sensitive. You shouldn't do this. Well, don't take care of your kids. That's your wife's job. You should be going to work and making the money, where she should be barefoot and pregnant. I'm really, really going on a limb here, but, I'm just really exaggerating. Yeah. There are a lot of men with very prominent nurturing parts, and they feel weird in a lot of ways because, this is what I want to do. I want to be a stay-at-home dad. I want to raise animals, or I want to do these nurturing things, and look how people are treating me. Look how society's treating me. Mm-hmm. Even in families, this tends to happen a lot, especially when people are growing up. So I know you're an only child, but in a lot of families where there's boys and girls, if there's a boy that's too sissy or too sensitive or whatever, then everyone in the family who agrees with that acts like they need to toughen up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So this really does boil down so much to socialization in our culture and what we expect. So all of these factors really go into toxic masculinity. I know we're going to talk about that in its own topic at some point, but this is a lot of the building blocks of toxic masculinity, what men and women should and shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Out of all of the parts of self, it's protector parts and nurturing parts that are most impacted by gender roles and mores in different societies. Mores are just what these expectations are. if we look at nurturing part without protector or any other part, nurturing parts just want to love everyone and everything and be loved back. That's the long and the short of it. Our nurturing parts just want to love and be loved. Mm-hmm. What have you noticed in yourself when you've tried to just be loving and be loved and it's just not going the way you want it to?
Well, I don't know. I guess I get defensive.
Yeah.
And that I assume is my protector part.
Yep.
Going, maybe you don't want to do that. It's not coming out like you were hoping.
Yeah. Have you ever found that you get like offended or like, well, fuck you then? Anything like that?
Oh, sure. That comes after.
Yeah.
Well, first it's what did I do wrong? Well, how come it didn't work? Then it's well, maybe you should just step back and not do that again. And then it's what the fuck? That wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. So yeah, that's where I go.
Absolutely, yeah. So nurturing and then protector when nurturing doesn't go well, and then critical because this doesn't make any fucking sense. What? Yeah. And so it's not a bad thing when our critical parts step in and be like, what the hell? Because that helps us problem solve, figure out what's actually going on in the situation. But our nurturing parts are just left, what? Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
Sad for nurturing parts.
Yeah. When you said the nurturing part just wants to love and be loved, all I could think of is when I was working on this with you and we were like testing this out, and my nurturing part was basically an old hippie.
Yeah.
And that's what and I didn't really think of it that way. She just popped up in my head. She had long hair and was wearing lots of beads and jewelry and long flowy outfits and was sitting cross-legged and, like not necessarily but, kind of like that. And it's when you said, she just wants to love and be loved, I was like, that's probably why I picked. Because an old hippie is like exactly what I think of when I think of somebody who's like that.
Oh, I love that. Fantastic. Yes, exactly. Free love.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really good example. When our nurturing parts are free to just do their job, to love and be loving, to love and to be loved back. That's their job. When they can do their job, it's a really good balance of nurturing in almost opposite ways at time. Nurturing isn't just how can I take care of you in the moment, it's how can I take care of you in the long term. So if we're looking at raising kids, like the question of balancing nurturing for this part of self is, well, do I protect them, keep them closer? Do I push them out of the nest, see if they fly? It's quite a balancing act between figuring out how to actually nurture someone short-term and long-term. And sometimes when our nurturing gets to be, I'm just going to protect them, it's too much. But if we're like, I'm going to nurture them by pushing them out of the nest, it might be too soon, and that's too much. It's a balancing act. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that with any of your pets or your relationships in any way? Just that balancing act of how you nurture.
I am actually experiencing that right now with my mom.
Yeah.
Because we just put her, see how you cry.
Yeah.
We just put her in memory care.
Yeah.
And she originally wasn't supposed to be in memory care. She was just going to assisted living. So this was sprung on us last minute. She's not going where you thought she's going. Now she's going to memory care. No, so it's, and somebody who I thought knew a lot more about it than me told me not to tell her, told me to just say, here we are, we're moving in, thinking she won't remember what it was like, what she was supposed to get. Yeah. And well, she did. And so that made it worse. And so right now, when you're talking about like the nurturing, holding close, or the letting go thing, I am getting conflicting theories from experts that I'm reading about and watching their videos or whatever about what to do when you first put somebody like that in a facility like that. Is one of them is visit every single day for at least the first 2 weeks. Let them know you're there. Blah blah blah. And then the other one is leave them alone for 2 to 3 weeks. Let them get used to their schedule and all of that. And so I am having trouble trying to figure out which one of those things I should do. And I think I've settled on neither a little bit of each. So
Okay.
I think I got that. But that's what I was struggling with. I'm like, I want her to know that I haven't just thrown her there and abandoned her.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely what she feels like right now. She's not blaming me. She's just saying, I hate this and I'm going home.
Yeah.
And I don't know how
Man.
to say that is your home. But, so I haven't, because I'm afraid that's going to make it worse. So yeah, that's definitely something that, it's not, not just a pet or a child. It can happen to us when we are basically parenting our obviously adult parents.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my experience. I do have pets, and I'm sure I could come up with something, but this is top of mind to me because it's what I'm dealing with right this moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's tough line to walk. How do you figure out what's best for her? I mean, at this point, I don't even know if she knows what's best for her.
She doesn't. No, I don't think she does. She thinks that what's best for her is to go back to her apartment
Yeah.
that she's not safe in.
That's so tough.
Yeah.
If your nurturing part had her way, what would she want to do in this situation?
Well, I would love to be able to have her stay in her own place and
Yeah.
have somebody come to her.
Absolutely.
It's just that costs more than the house or the facility we have her in. And
Yeah.
she doesn't have any money, and we don't have that kind of money.
No,
So,
absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer, is to have her be in her own place with her own stuff and her own bed, and have somebody come in and take care of her. But they'd have to live there, basically, and that's out of almost anyone's price range.
Yeah.
Anyone I
Yep.
know, anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you already told me how much a month of memory care costs. If the in-home is even more than that, yeah, there's no way anyone could afford that.
Yeah, it's easily, I don't know, thousands of dollars a month, and that doesn't count like food and all that. So
Exactly.
it would be way, way, way too expensive. If I was a millionaire, that's what I'd do, because that's what would make her the happiest.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, she doesn't have that many years left. I want them to be as peaceful as possible,
Yeah.
and that's
Of course.
just not what's happening right now. So
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's what all of our nurturing parts have to deal with, is our reality of things, the limitations. I mean, nothing's perfect in this world, and so everything we deal with is so complex, which is why we have different parts of self, because it's hard to figure out these complex situations with a simple mind. You know what I'm saying? So it takes your protector part, your nurturing part, your responsible, your logical, critical even, to be like, what's going to be best for my mom and how can I afford this? That's definitely a critical part, making these big decisions, figuring it out with logical, of course. So nurturing parts really just want to do their jobs, but there's a lot of things that get in the way. I'm going to loop back around to that. When we can be our authentic selves and letting our nurturing parts be authentic, that's when our nurturing gets to be at its best. It's really hard to be nurturing to someone when we're not feeling it.
yeah.
Have you ever tried faking being nice to someone or being
yeah.
nurturing to someone? How did it go?
It's fine because I can act, but it doesn't feel good
Yeah.
in me. It doesn't. Yeah. I don't like. Yeah, I don't like it. The fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that. I can
not
do
either.
it, and I think I'm believable in most cases. But it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. Even if we can fake it and other people don't even know we're not really feeling it, our nurturing parts definitely know. And it is kind of an icky feeling.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a terrible liar, and I don't like lying. So
Uh-huh.
I always feel like they're going to see through me.
Yep. Yeah. And that just means you're coming from a place of authenticity, at least trying to.
Yeah.
Which is good. And that's where we want our nurturing parts to be. People can tell most of the time when anyone's being fake or disingenuous. It just, the term, like, it's saccharine sweet. Yeah, people can tell. So I'm going to bring in the generals, these generals that we have, what men and women should be doing. They put us into a box in a lot of ways, and it's hard for us to be our authentic selves in these boxes. For example, if I want to nurture someone by, having some tough love or something, it's like, oh, geez, why are you being so mean? But if my husband wants to nurture someone by being, cuddly and, oh, you're such a sweet guy, it's like, oh, geez, why are you so gay? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a whole other thing.
It
Just
is a
because
whole
man
other
is
thing.
sensitive, he has to be gay. That's ridiculous.
I know,
Not
right?
that there's anything wrong with being gay.
No, of course not.
That's the fact that people use that as a slur, basically, is annoying to me and maddening.
Absolutely. Because again, the toxic masculinity says, well, men have to be this way and they can't feel these things. Yeah. So if our nurturing parts, again, are like faced with these gender roles and what we're supposed to be like, it's really hard for us to be genuine with our nurturing parts. And it can lead to a lot of anxiety, like social anxiety, internal anxiety. It's just like, well, how am I supposed to be then, huh? I don't know. It gets to be very nerve-wracking. In therapy, one of the main components that helps therapy work is the therapist's presence with the client. And so I don't know if you've ever heard of Carl Rogers, but he's one of the, not necessarily pioneer, but one of the, what word am I looking for? He's not like a founder. He's not like a pioneer. He's just one of those people who added to the richness of therapy and all of that stuff, should I say. So he came up with 3 things that were the elements that you want in therapy from the therapist to the client: warmth, authenticity, and unconditional positive regard.
Okay.
And if you don't have those things in therapy, you're not going to go very far. Clients have to feel like you actually care, like you actually want them to do better. Yeah. And if you're faking it with the client, they're definitely going to know and they're going to dip out. For sure. At least I would hope they'd dip out, honestly.
Yeah. It's better for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, I'm beating a dead horse. We are best equipped to be nurturing when we are coming from an authentic place, from our authentic selves. We want to be authentic in our nurturing. So another thing that gets in the way of us being authentic in our nurturing is when our nurturing parts become burdened. Things can go awry to varying degrees. So like taking care of your mom in this tough spot in life. Like if you make the wrong decision because you're just trying to be nurturing or protective or both, things could go wrong. And then we feel terrible. Maybe mom's hurt some way or not taken care of some way. And that makes it really hard on nurturing part. And the nurturing part's like, well, I can't fuck up again. And oh my gosh, there's some more anxiety. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of anxiety involved with their nurturing parts if we can't be authentically nurturing. Have you noticed that for yourself?
I haven't really felt, well, I guess now that I think about it, I have not slept much. And I think it's because I'm laying awake thinking about all the things I should be doing or could be doing or ways to make things better or blah, blah, blah. And I don't feel that anxiety in the way I usually feel anxiety. For me, anxiety usually comes on like more like things are speeding up and my heart's racing and this is more like I'm just laying there going and think, but my brain is on fire all the time, trying to solve all the problems. Yeah. So I guess that is a form. A new, kind of new for me, form of anxiety. Yeah. Because of
Which makes sense.
This.
Makes sense, yeah. Because you're trying to figure out what's best for your mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not like it's generalized anxiety. It's not like you're going to be diagnosed with anxiety because of this, but, anxiety and just like, oh, I'm feeling kind of nervous or anxious or blah, 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 Yeah. So I think of that when I think about my 18-year-old cat. Like my nurturing part is like, oh, I just want to keep him around and as good for as long as possible. And he's slowing down. He's getting weaker, and he's still himself. But it's like, man, my guy, you're getting so old. And it's like, oh, I just don't want you to go. Yeah. And so it's definitely a balancing act of how do I take care of him in ways that's going to keep him going versus ways that's going to like stifle him even more. I mean, he's an 18-year-old guy. He's not going to last much longer, but if I can eke 2 more years, I'll be happy. But I don't want him to suffer. And that's
Right.
the other thing.
Right. That's the thing that's so hard about pets
Yeah.
is that you're the one that makes the decision, unless they go on their own, which
Right.
often happens too. But to say like, oh, I think it's time. And then, you bring him to the vet and you're the whole time you're like, is it time or am I rushing this? Is it too quick? Should I
Right.
wait? That's the anxiety that I'm used to with nurturing, with all the many, many animals I've had, and having to make that decision over and over. And then if they do go on their own, like at home, then it's like, oh crap. I should have brought her in or brought him in a week ago or 2 weeks ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's all that second guessing and anxiety that comes from that, too.
Absolutely.
It's not easy.
It's so tough. It's not easy.
never easy.
No. One piece of this is a lot of states don't have medical assisted death or dying, whereas every state allows this for pets.
I know. I was going to bring that up, but I wasn't sure if we should, if
Yeah.
you wanted to go there or not. But yeah,
course.
that is something that is really, really annoying for me. And not that I want to put my mom down. That's not what I mean.
Right.
But when my dad was going through this, now luckily he had a spouse, so she was taking care and doing
Yeah.
most of 99.9% of everything with him.
Yeah.
And I know that he did not want to be alive anymore with the way he was at the end.
Yeah.
And he couldn't speak. But when I saw him, he looked me in the eye, and I knew that's what he was saying.
Oh.
And you can't, there's nothing you can do. I'm like, I can't smother you with a pillow. I don't know what, there's no way legally
Yeah.
that I
Right.
can help you.
Right. I know. It's terrible. We can have this compassion for our pets, but we can't have this compassion for our people.
Right.
Like, I understand the argument. It's like, well, why are we playing God? Like, well, I don't know if we're playing God. Is it medical assisted death or is someone just going to go, commit suicide? Like, at some point, people are just going to go take care of it themselves.
Yeah, if they can.
If they can.
If they're not moving and not, not able to get up and walk around and, physically do stuff, then they can't. And then they just lay there.
Right.
wishing
Exactly. Yeah.
that it would end.
Uh-huh.
That'd be horrible.
Tell me about it. I don't even want to be in that position. I always tell my husband, if I ever get Alzheimer's, just take me out back.
That's what I just told my friend that the text the other day. I said, I never want to get to this state. If I
No.
start showing real signs of dementia, Alzheimer's, I want you to just kill me.
Yeah.
And she said she would smother me with a pillow.
Sure.
And then she said, this text might get me in trouble in the future. And I said, only if I die by suffocation and you happen to have been there at the time. Otherwise, I think you're good.
Right. But that honestly is a compassionate thing to do. Other people's nurturing parts are like, but you could get better and things could get better. And it's like, shh, not at this point
No,
if
you
it's
don't
Alzheimer's.
you don't get better from Alzheimer's.
No. If it's a terminal cancer or terminal disease, no, it's not going to get better. I understand the argument. I'm not going to poo-poo one side or another, or it's more than two sides, of course, but I'm not going to poo-poo anyone's ideas about this. It's just for the people who want to go out on their own terms. I think that's more compassionate.
I do too.
Did you ever see The Last of Us, at least season 1?
No.
Oh,
I haven't
man.
watched it yet.
Oh, it's good.
I
There's a
want to.
whole... I think you'd like it. I still need to start season 2, but season 1 was great. There's an episode with Nick Offerman and I don't know the other actor's name, but
I think you talked about this before. It's his husband, right?
yeah.
You can
So
tell it again in case somebody missed it.
I'm not trying to spoil this, but Nick Offerman, his character's husband, had MS or terminal illness at one point, and things were fine. And then toward the end, the husband's like, I just can't keep doing this. And so they decided together that they were going to, take care of it themselves. And it was very heart-wrenching and sweet. And my husband and I both, tears are just streaming down our eyes. I was like, oh my God. I also think of Dexter. Did you ever watch that?
I did. I didn't watch it all the way to the end.
Oh, that's okay. So in Dexter season 1, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was season 2. Season 2? It's been a while since I watched them. So one of the ladies he worked with at the police department, she had a cancer or something terminal, and at the end, she knew what his extracurricular activities were, and so she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, it's worth the watch
I
again."
love that show.
Oh, so good. So she basically told Dexter, like, listen, I'm going to die anyway, and I don't want to suffer. So how about you just do your thing? And he obliged her, and he thought it was the compassionate thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do, the whole Terry Schiavo
Yes.
debacle.
Yes.
How long ago was that? 20 years?
Oh my God. Maybe
Longer?
even more. That was
Yeah,
a long
25
time
years?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember watching what was going on with that. And it was a huge fight between Terry's husband and Terry's parents. Terry's parents wanted to let her go, and Terry's husband wanted to keep her on life support, even though she was mostly vegetative, and he was practically cheating on her anyway. And just let her go.
I don't know why he cared.
Right? I don't know.
And
I don't know why.
Did she have a health directive?
I don't think so.
Okay,
And that's why it was a
the
debate.
problem. I think that's why I got one. And that's why
Yep.
my dad and I together, they called it a living will at the time.
Yes,
And
yeah.
we went and we had that. And that's one thing my dad said is no resuscitation, no nothing. If I can't eat by myself, cut it off.
Yeah.
If I can't eat or breathe by myself, cut it off.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's good to do the advanced directive or, that's what it's called now.
Yeah, the Advanced Healthcare Directive, I think is what it's called.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's also good to do a psychiatric advanced directive, but that's more toward mental health stuff rather than just general. But anyway, so just going to add some lightheartedness to this. So South Park did an episode basically spoofing the Terry Schiavo thing where
really?
Kenny was on life support and half of the kids were like, well, we need to keep him on life support. And the other half are like, just let him go. He doesn't want to be on life support. And they found Kenny's advance directive, but not the last page. And so this whole episode, just debate the whole episode until the very end where they find this last page. And Kenny's like, well, for the love of God, don't televise this. And they televised it, the whole thing.
So put that on the front page of yours.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get back on track.
Yeah.
So that's not the only way our nurturing parts get burdened with these tough decisions, how to nurture. It's also like when our nurturing parts are doing anything they can to just get what we want. And what we want a lot of times is driven by our unmet needs, driven by our negative cognitions, driven by needs for attachment that aren't there, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to stereotype. A lot of the time when we think of people who are nurturing too much, it's usually women. Mm-hmm. We think of women as enablers and excusers and, I'm just going to prop you up and blah, blah, blah. And that's, again, a societal thing where women are basically told to do this. Mm-hmm. And so there's this whole book that came out in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that briefly last time, too, I think.
Yes. Women Who Love Too Much.
Yeah.
This whole book, it's like 300 pages, basically, of anecdotes and explanations of how women love too much. There's this distancer-pursuer dynamic where the woman who loves too much is the pursuer, like, I'm just going to try to nurture you and get nurturing from you, and the person who's being nurtured too much is like, just leave me alone, go away. And so it's pursue, distance. And that's a whole dynamic that tends to happen in men-women relationships. Not all the time, of course, I'm stereotyping. Men can be enabling and love too much too. Mm-hmm. But really, we look at women who are just like, you really shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If we look at examples in society of women who propped up their husbands, I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is when Bill Clinton was like, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing, okay, yeah, I admit it. And Hillary was right there just looking like, this is super embarrassing and awkward, and I fucking hate this, but I'm here for my man. Yeah. You know what you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And we all went, it's just a business relationship anyway.
And it could be. Yeah, they're still together. Exactly. It could be. But if we think of, again, in our society, in a stereotyping way, if we think of a guy who was cheated on by the wife, well, we wouldn't have any qualm with, oh, well, yeah, you should leave. You don't have to stick by your woman, but, you need to stick by your man.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the song? Stand by your man?
Yeah.
So a lot of the time there's beyond these dynamics. So just like inner stuff that's going on within ourselves when our nurturing part is trying to nurture us and doesn't necessarily know how. We get like random hookups where there's nothing wrong with randomly hooking up. But if it's like a serial random hookup, there's something deeper driving that.
Sure.
Having project people. I don't know if you know anyone who has project people or you've been a project person for someone.
In my younger years, I was drawn to boys who were needy, who did not have a strong family, or who did not have friends that were supportive. Or so I thought, oh, I can swoop in and be the hero and be the person to make them feel loved and all of that.
Okay.
And so I took on those, I guess, projects, sort of.
Sure.
And I wouldn't say it backfired or anything. I would just say it wasn't great for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I did tend to do that when I was young, like high school and early college.
Yeah. And that's an experience a lot of us go through until we realize this isn't good for us. What did you do instead when you realized that wasn't good for you?
I don't know. I think it kind of happened in college. So I just sort of met other people and went, oh, that's much easier to be with somebody who actually can think for himself. And, and I don't have to be in charge of everything and, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think I just kind of explored what it would be like if I didn't keep doing that. And it was better.
Great. Okay. So your nurturing part was looking out for you more or less in that, rather than other people.
Yeah. I think I had to at some point go, not everybody else's problem is my problem.
Yes.
And as you know, I still struggle with that with some of my friends.
Sure.
Because I do feel like it really hurts me to watch people make decisions that I know are going to hurt them.
Yeah.
And I can try my hardest to convince them otherwise.
Yep.
But I know I have to just say it. Not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not my fault if something goes wrong. It's not my fault. Right. It's not my responsibility. And, Godspeed. Do what you got to do.
That's right. That's right.
It's really, really hard for me.
It is. And if those other parts of yourself, responsible, critical, protector for you, even if those other parts were involved and your nurturing part was left unchecked, how do you see things going?
I see me not being able to say, go ahead and do what you need to do,
Yep.
I see myself continuing to harp on, are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure? So I straddle that still.
Yep. Yeah. Again, that fine line of how to nurture. Yeah. So getting even deeper than that, people end up having like savior complexes. Like, I have to save people. And this happens with children, like having children, just biologically adopting children. Like, I have to have kids because I have to nurture someone.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know anyone like that?
Well, I have had a friend who had a child because, and she told me this is why she had a child on purpose. She's young, 19, I think.
Oh.
And it was because she wanted someone to always love her.
Yes.
And so she tricked her boyfriend at the time so that she could get pregnant intentionally and have this child. She didn't care if he was going to be in the kid's life or not. She just wanted this child so that somebody would always be there to love her.
Yeah. And that's very common. That screams attachment issues. Of course. What people don't realize, and I want to make this loud and clear, if you're having children to meet your attachment needs, you are robbing them of their attachment needs. Do not have children for yourself just to fill your own needs. Fill your needs first so you can fill your children's needs. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you are having kids to meet your own needs, you're going to fuck yourself and your kid both. And that is my protector and my critical and my nurturing. Don't fuck your kids up, please.
Try not to.
Try not to.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's perfect. Every kid's going to be fucked up a little bit. But if you can fill your own needs first, you're going to do your children so much better.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to nurture them better, raise them better, set them up for success. If you're looking to your kids for your own needs, you are robbing from them. Mm-hmm. Okay, off my soapbox.
Well, it's a little like the airplane or flight attendant thing in the beginning, you know, with the oxygen mask.
Yep.
Put yours on first.
Yep.
So that you can help your child.
Yes,
because if you're passed out, your kid's not getting any help.
Mm-hmm. And if you're passed out, how parentified is your kid to put their own mask on first, and then yours, and then everyone else's? Right. Yeah, because that happens too.
Yeah.
So a lot of these not great behaviors, like, you know, having kids to fill your own needs, having project people, that kind of stuff, they're all behaviors to try to nurture burden child parts in ourselves. These things that get so messed up, again, really, it's so nurturing can nurture the burden kid parts in ourselves. And a very common theme that I've heard from so many clients is, well, there's too much junk going on internally. If I can focus my nurturing externally, at least I'm doing something. Mm-hmm. Nurturing parts know the burden kid parts are heavy. They got a lot of junk going on. They can't do it themselves. So if I can do this, well, maybe I'll feel a little bit better on the inside too. Mm-hmm. So it gets very complicated. It gets very messed up in a lot of ways. So what are some ways that anyone can take care of themselves superficially and on a deeper level? Well, the first thing I'm going to throw out is self-care. Self-care is a very blanket, general term that's just anything to do to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. So like wrapping yourself up in blankets, snuggling with the pets, listening to a good podcast or a self-help book, listening to like white noise when you're trying to sleep, the waves, nature sounds. Practicing gratitude and appreciation is also very big for self-care. I'm just curious, when you have practiced gratitude or appreciation, how have you ended up feeling?
I think I mentioned this before. I took a short seminar webinar thing during COVID on meditation. And the first one I took was a gratitude meditation. Mm. And it walked us through it. And, we were supposed to sit there with our eyes closed and listen to the guy's voice and repeat after him and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time I'd ever done a guided meditation. Uh-huh. And it was wild. I got to toward the end and I was sobbing. Oh, and I wasn't sad. It was almost an elation feeling. Mm. And I was like, oh, this is why people always say, just meditate. Uh-huh. I thought it was hooey, but it's not.
No, it's not.
It was really cool. I do find that starting out with gratitude when you're doing any kind of a meditation or a prayer, whatever you want to call it, incantation.
Sure.
To start out with a gratitude saying before you start asking for something. Mm-hmm. That always feels better.
Yeah, that's right. So there's really simple things that we can do. Of course, the simple doesn't necessarily mean easy or not time consuming, because meditations can take a while depending on the meditation you're doing, but sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Just putting on some white noise, just listening to a podcast or whatever. That doesn't take much at all. Some other things for nurturing yourself is just taking time for self-reflection. Thinking about, our gender roles, ideologies, the isms, impacting my nurturing part and impacting the rest of my parts of self, impacting how I can be authentically in this world. So self-reflecting, what's negatively impacting me? What can I do differently internally with my parts of self? What can I do externally as far as my behaviors, my interactions, that kind of stuff? What can I do externally to adopt the things that other people do that are nurturing, that might be nurturing for us as well? So really just self-reflection is a big portion of being nurturing to yourself. There's also support groups like AA, a lot of 12-step groups out there. There's more than just 12-step support groups. There's a lot of support groups. I like AA because if any of my clients are in a support group, the majority of them are in AA. And there's a lot of good stuff in there, especially just being in community. Mm-hmm. One thing I hate, and I'm going to get on another soapbox really quick, is there's not support groups for people who are just living life. Mm-hmm. Like there's grief support groups, there's stuff for these problems, but can we just have support groups for just life sucks?
Yeah.
Adulting is hard.
Yeah.
Maybe
you should start one.
I love that. That's a good idea.
I'll attend.
That's great. But I don't know of any just life is hard support groups.
Yeah,
do you?
No, I think everything has a theme.
Yeah.
And I feel like people think it must have to start one. But
right.
That's a really good idea. Just, hey.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, just because you're not suffering a grief or a loss or an addiction or something doesn't mean that there's not a whole bunch of other shit that you're dealing with. That's
right. Absolutely. And so a lot of what we need for nurturing is other people too. Mm-hmm. There's only so much we can do to nurture ourselves. We need other people to nurture us as well. And we need to nurture other people as well. I mean, we're made to be social. We're social animals. Mm-hmm. And if we don't have these social connections, we suffer in a lot of ways. So there's just not enough support or structure for people to really get together. I mean, social media is well and good in so many ways as far as connecting, but not in other ways. So I'm wondering if there's a pickleball club that someone can join. Maybe there's parent supports. Like if you know a parent down the street, how can you get together and support each other? How can you foster your relationships with your neighbors? Even the family and friends that you already have, how can you foster and enrichen your relationships? The deeper connections we have, the more nurturing we can have for ourselves and to give to other people. So if we look at our relationships, one more thing I got to talk about is just how to stay in relationship and stay nurturing rather than getting super critical or annoyed or, this just isn't working for me kind of stuff. First of all, again, self-reflection. What's going on in this relationship that I don't like? What am I doing to contribute to it? What's the other person doing to contribute to it? And the thought process is, how can we make this better? If that's the motivation or intention, then good. If that's not your motivation or intention, how do I make this better? Then is your relationship even one that you want to keep? Mm-hmm. So good. Again, more self-reflection. I absolutely believe in marriage. I believe in long-term committed relationships, all of that stuff. I have no qualms of people being in other types of relationships. That's their prerogative, not mine. But if you're in a relationship with someone, try to be nurturing. Try to love them the way that you want to be loved, the way that they would want to nurture you. Mm-hmm. It's hard sometimes.
It is.
I know there are days where my husband, he's in a bad mood or he's just being a dick or whatever. And it's like, well, this sucks. And it's not really easy to be loving to this guy. I'm critical of this guy because that's all I'm getting is this critical part. But it's like, I have to tell my critical part, relax. It's fine. Chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So really make that conscious decision. Are you trying to keep this relationship good? And if you are, then act accordingly.
Yeah.
So I'm just keep thinking of the song, Love the One You're With. Love the one you're with. So that really should be the driving motivation or intention. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that people can do to help nurture and foster their relationships, especially if it's an intimate relationship. John Gottman and the Gottman Institute are like the leading relationship experts in this country. And Gottman is pretty much gold in my book. So if there's any relationship issues, any Gottman book or seminar or webinar or anything would be helpful.
Okay.
He's got a lot of books out there with Nan Silver and with his wife, who is not Nan Silver, it's Julie Gottman. Anyway, lots of books, lots of things from Gottman. There's also the rules of fighting fair for couples. And it's 9 rules like don't interrupt, name calling, no yelling, no talk of divorce. So following the rules of fighting fair. And doing couples, marriage therapy, even individual therapy would help in a lot of ways. Again, if we can't authentically be nurturing, how can we actually be nurturing to ourselves and other people? So there's so many things that get in the way of our nurturing part, just being able to do its job. So I don't really have any other things off the top of my head that really help nurture ourselves beyond self-care, self-reflection, nurturing ourselves, our own relationships within ourselves, our external relationships, and that can get pretty deep. So start superficially, just self-reflection, practicing gratitude, doing self-care, and then go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Start with nurturing yourself.
This Way In is a conversation about mental health and everyday well-being, but it is not therapy. Listening to this podcast does not create a therapist-client relationship, and the information we share is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you are feeling overwhelmed or struggling with your mental health, please reach out to a qualified professional in your area. Never delay, disregard, or change professional recommendations or advice because of something you heard here. And please remember that any views expressed here are our own and don't represent any licensing boards. This Way In is co-produced by Brittney Baxter-Donovan and me, Amy Lotsberg, at Collected Sounds Media. I also edit and manage the show, which is part of the Collected Sounds Independent Podcast Network.